Hi there. Thank you for clicking on this video. In this video, you will learn about how you can use Microsoft Search and Graph connectors together to implement an open enterprise search solution for your organization. My name is James Lau, and I'm the product lead for Graph connectors at Microsoft. I'm thrilled to be joined by Monica today in creating this video for you. Hey Monica, do you want to say hi?
Thanks, James. Hi, everyone. My name is Monica Narayanan, and I am a program manager working on Graph connectors. I am very excited to be joining James today and recording this video for you.
Thanks, Monica. In this video, we will cover the following. First, we will give you an introduction of Microsoft Search and Graph connectors, just to set the context. Then we will show you the search user experience with Graph connector results, and take you through the administrative user experience on how to set one up. We will then show you an example of a third-party Graph connector. Finally, we'll wrap up and point you to more resources where you can learn more. And with that, let's get started. Workplace search is a hard problem to solve. There are several key reasons why enterprise search is so challenging. First of all, organizations these days just have way too much data, and most of it is unstructured. This makes relevance super important in actually making people being able to find what they're looking for. Data in organizations is almost always living in silos. Whether it's an on-prem file share, a custom database, or a cloud service, users need to go to many different places to find the things that they're looking for. Making matters worse, these disparate data sources usually have their own inconsistent user experience for search, making it very jarring. Security trimming is another must-have requirement for enterprise search. After all, you don't want your CEO's private document showing up even in a search result. And then if you think about the typical modern information worker, we're always all multitasking and context switching, which makes the bar for being able to quickly find the thing that you're looking for very high. Otherwise, we will just get distracted and lose productivity. Microsoft Search is our intelligent search solution for the modern workplace. It takes into account you and your relationship with documents, files, data, and people you work with to offer you personalized relevance that continuously improves as you use it more and more. It features natural language support that goes beyond basic keyword matching to truly understand the intent behind your queries. Its search is secure, and it ensures that users are only ever shown the search results that they have permission to see. Microsoft Search powers multiple experiences, including SharePoint, Office.com, Microsoft Search in Bing, Edge, Windows, and many of the Office applications, providing you with a single, consistent, and familiar search experience. Last but not least, Microsoft Search can support any content source, allowing you to break down those data silos and search over all of them. The last point here is where Microsoft Graph connectors come in. Graph connectors empower organizations to bring in external data into the Microsoft Graph, which is the data fabric that in turn powers multiple intelligent experiences within Microsoft 365, which includes search. The data that you bring in through Graph connectors will be able to participate in other experiences in the future, including intelligent discovery, Project Cortex, people experiences, and security and compliance. And with Graph connectors, you can connect to virtually any data source. At a high level, there are three options. You can use a Microsoft-built connector, you can use a connector built by one of our partners, or you can use our APIs to build your own connector. The Microsoft 365 Administrative Center comes with several connectors built in for you to connect to popular data sources. This includes ServiceNow, Azure DevOps, Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake Storage, MediaWiki, and enterprise websites. These connectors provide you with an easy and turnkey way to connect to these data sources, so you can quickly enable users in your organization to search over those data sources. And we're building more. Coming soon to you and already in private preview are connectors to Salesforce and several on-premise data sources, such as Windows File Share, MS SQL, Oracle, and on-prem enterprise websites. But of course, we understand that the data sources you use may be diverse and not limited to the ones that we support. That's why we're happy to be partnering with key leaders in the enterprise search space who can offer you solutions and connectors that work well with Microsoft Search. These leaders include Accenture, BA Insight, Raytheon, and Cognizant. We are also working with key technology partners to build connectors for their products and services to better serve our mutual customers. They include Adobe, Box, GoOne, and LumApps. Together, our partner ecosystem offers over 100 connectors for you to connect to all the data sources that you may need. You also have the option to create your own graph connector through the Microsoft Graph APIs. We offer APIs for you to both index items as well as to query items. Now that we have gone through the basics, I will pass it on to Monica to show you how you can use Microsoft Search and Graph connectors together within your organization. Take it away, Monica.
Thank you, James. I am first going to walk through the Microsoft Search experience in SharePoint. Then I will show you the admin experience for creating your own Microsoft-built connector, custom result type, and custom vertical. I will lastly walk through how to set up your integration with GoOne in the GoOne admin portal and how the connection appears on office.com. Let's take a look at what the Microsoft Search experience from SharePoint looks like. On this search results page, I see the default search verticals as well as 3 additional connector verticals: Box, Learning, and ADLS. The connections associated with the Box and Learning verticals are third-party integrations with Box.com and GoOne, respectively. The connection associated with the ADLS vertical is a Microsoft-built connection to an Azure Data Lake Storage instance. Later in this demo, I will walk through how to set up the ADLS connection and GoOne connection. But first, I will walk through the search experience with connector data. Megan, a new marketing associate at her company, is looking for marketing materials from her organization. She does a search for marketing in the All tab. She sees some results from SharePoint, which may interest her, but she also sees marketing trainings on digital marketing and marketing management from the Learning tab. She clicks on More Learning Results to see additional trainings related to marketing. This takes her to the Learning tab, where she can scroll through additional results. She can also get a better idea of what search results fit her needs best by looking at the result snippets with the highlighted term, marketing. Megan now wants to discover files related to her team's current marketing strategy, which are stored in Box.com. She clicks on the Box vertical to see marketing results here. She is interested in learning how her team writes sales reports, so she clicks on the Divisional Sales Report doc. This launches the document in Box.com, where she can view its contents, make edits and comments, download, and share it. Megan now needs to find files related to her team's previous project called Litware. She knows her organization archives a lot of information in the Azure Data Lake instance they have, so she searches for Litware on the ADLS tab. Here she finds helpful files pertaining to the Litware project. The results on this page are scoped to Megan's user permissions. Only ADLS files she has access to are returned here. She can click on any search result of interest and view its contents. Now I'm going to walk through how to set up a Microsoft-built Azure Data Lake storage connection. In the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, first go to Settings, Microsoft Search, and navigate to the Connectors tab. Here you can choose from the set of Microsoft-built connectors for some popular data sources. Each of them will have a similar turnkey setup experience that I'm about to show you. Let's select ADLS Gen 2 and click Next. Let's name the connection ADLS and the connection ID the same. The connection ID uniquely identifies the connection within your organization. If you need to delete and recreate the connection, you can use the same connection ID to reuse the same result type and vertical that had already been set up. I can also add a helpful description. By selecting this checkbox, I authorize Microsoft to create an index of the third-party data within my organization. Let's click Next. Here you can paste your primary storage connection string, which allows you to connect to your ADLS instance. You can find the string by going to your Azure portal and copying the connection string under Settings, then Access Keys. If you want our Graph Connector service to get notifications of updates in your instance, so we can update our index without checking your source, you can optionally provide a notification queue name for us to receive these notifications. If the notification storage connection string is different from the primary storage connection string, you can include the string here. But if the notification queue is stored in the same location as your content, you can click Same with primary storage. I don't want to add a notification queue, so I'm going to go ahead and test the connection. The connection is successful. Let's click Next. On this page, I can select the search permissions for my connection. This selection is okay. I only want people with access to this data source to see search results for this connection. Let's click Next. Here I can assign property labels. Labels are well-known tags provided by Microsoft that provide semantic meaning. They allow Microsoft to integrate your connector data into Microsoft 365 experiences, such as enhanced search, people cards, intelligent discovery, and more. The properties on this page are pre-selected based on my data source, but I have the option to change the selection if I feel like a different property is better suited for a particular label. I'm happy with the defaults, so let's click Next. This takes me to the Manage Schema screen, where I can select the content property, provide search annotations to each of my source properties, and add optional aliases. The content property contains the full text of the item I want indexed. It is used to detect language and to generate result snippets in search results. The content property is pre-selected based on my data source. For some connector types, I have the option to change this selection if I'd like. For each of my source properties, I can choose whether I'd like the property to be queryable, searchable, retrievable, or refinable. A queryable property allows users to scope search results by writing a query that asks for results with a specific property value. A searchable property makes the content of the property searchable by adding it to the full text index. Retrievable properties are the only properties that can be used in the result type and displayed in the search results. A refinable property is a property that you can create a filter for. Let's make created searchable and content length retrievable. I want content length to be retrievable so I can display the length of the file on my result type. The rest of the defaults are fine. I can also add aliases to my properties. Aliases are friendly names for my properties and will be used in queries and in the creation of filters. They are also used to normalize source properties from multiple connections, such that they have the same name. That way, I can create a single filter for a vertical with multiple connections. For example, I can add the alias author to my property created. I don't want to add any aliases. And everything looks good here, so I'm going to click Next. On this screen, I can customize the crawl schedule for my connection. Let's make the incremental refresh interval 4 hours. And we can keep the full refresh interval at 1 day. Let's click Next. Everything looks good here, but I can optionally go back to any of these steps and make any necessary changes. Let's add the connection. At this point, we are done adding the connection. It is currently in the pending publish state and will take a few minutes to finish publishing. Once the connection is published, it will start syncing. Now I'm going to walk through how to set up a custom result type for my Azure Data Lake Storage connection. I first navigate to the Result Types section of the Customizations tab next to Connectors. I click on Add to add a result type. I'm going to name the result type ADLS. I want to create this result type for the ADLS connection I just created. On this page, I can add optional rules to help search match each result to the best result type if I have multiple result types for my connection. For example, if I want search to use this result type for my connection when Excel documents are returned, I can say that content type must equal XLS. But I don't want to add any rules for my result type, since I want my result type to be used for all search results. So I'm going to click Next. Here I can launch the Layout Designer to create my result type. I can select an existing layout or create a custom layout. Once I'm done creating my result type and mapping my properties, I can paste the copy JSON right here. These are the list of properties I can use to create my result type. These properties were marked retrievable in the Manage Schema screen during connection creation. Result Snippet is a special system property. It serves as a placeholder for dynamically generated result snippets with query term hit highlighting that happens at query time. If you want your search results to generate result snippets, make sure to include this property in your result type layout. I have already copied my custom result type JSON for convenience, so I'll paste it here. Everything looks good here, so I'm going to add the result type. And now we're done creating the custom result type. Now let's set up my search vertical for the Azure Data Lake Storage connection. A search vertical only shows results of a certain type or from certain content. Examples are files or news. I first navigate to the vertical section of the Customizations tab next to Connectors. I click on Add to add a vertical. Let's name the vertical ADLS. This is the actual text that will show up as the vertical name in the search results page and will be seen by end users. Let's click Next. I want to create this vertical for one of my connectors. Here, I can select which connections I want linked to my vertical. If I want my search vertical to return results from multiple connections, I can select those connections here. The box connector is grayed out because there's already a vertical created for this connection. However, if I wanted results from Go1 content and ADLS content to show up in the vertical I am creating, I can select the Go1 content connection as well as the ADLS connection. But I only want to create the vertical for the ADLS connection, so I will only select ADLS. On this page, I can add an optional KQL query if I wanted to limit the scope for this vertical. The query defines rules over the result set to further filter the results. Otherwise, all data from the content source will be searchable. I can use any of these properties to build my KQL query. Once I am done, I can paste my query in this text box. I don't want to add a query since I want all content in my ADLS connection to be searchable. So I will click Next. On this page, I can add filters to my vertical. I would simply click Add a Filter and select which refinable properties I would like to use as my filters for my vertical. Since I did not mark any of my properties refinable during connection setup, I am not able to add any filters. So let's click Next. Everything looks good here, so I'm going to add my vertical. Once my vertical is added, I can go ahead and enable it so that it shows up in the search results page. If you want to test your search experience right away with this newly added vertical, you can append &cache clear equals true to the end of your URL in SharePoint, Office.com, or Microsoft Search in Bing. Microsoft Search and Graph Connectors also supports third-party integrations via our publicly available API. One such integration that I will walk through next is the Go1 integration. Go1 is a learning technology company that enables organizations to access learning content wherever their employees are. Go1 helps organizations access the world's largest online content library, from their learning management system, Microsoft Teams, and now from Microsoft Search, via the Graph Connector integration. Click Connect with Microsoft. Then sign in with your Microsoft account on the connection screen. Here I can review all the permissions that I'm granting and click Accept. On the Graph Connector export page, I can see the number of resources in my library and export them to Microsoft Search now, or I can add more resources to my library. In the Content Hub, I can choose what courses I want my connector to index. I can choose to make all my courses in Go1 available for search by clicking Add All Results to my library. Or in this case, I can choose specific courses to be searchable. For example, I can add content only relating to professional development. Let's add these two modules to my library to be indexed. Once I'm done adding content to my library, I can go back to the Graph Connector export page and export my results. By clicking Export, the connector is being created, the schema is being created, and my search results are being indexed to Microsoft Search. Once the status bar says it has been completed, I can go ahead and check out my search results in one of the Microsoft Search endpoints. Now let's take a look at the Go1 connection on the search results page once again. As James mentioned, any connection and vertical you set up appears across multiple Microsoft Search endpoints. So this time, let's search for Go1 content on Office.com. Megan, the new marketing associate, is interested in discovering what diversity trainings she can take. She does a search for diversity. Here she sees a variety of results from Go1, ranging from short videos to full courses or something more interactive. She can click on any of the trainings and seamlessly begin the training right away. Thank you all for tuning into this demo. I hope you learned a bit more about how your organization can utilize Microsoft Search and Graph Connectors to solve your enterprise search needs. I'm going to hand it back to James to say some final words.
Thank you, Monica. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this video and that you have learned something new. Now that you have seen how you can use Microsoft Search and Graph Connectors together, I hope you're excited to set this up for your own organization so that you can have that single pane of glass that search over all the content that you need to search over. Here are some more resources for you to learn more. The Graph Connectors documentation is the starting point that links to all things Graph Connectors. The Microsoft Search Tech community is a vibrant community with tons of resources related to Microsoft Search. And finally, the Microsoft Search Videos YouTube channel, of course, consists of all the related videos that you might want to watch if you're interested in enterprise search. There is one last thing I would like to say before we end this video. It is a big thank you to all our preview customers who are now using Microsoft Search and Graph Connectors in their production environments. Your feedback has been invaluable to our product. So on behalf of the entire team, I want to truly say a heartfelt thank you. Now, in their own words, let's hear about how Microsoft Search and Graph Connectors have helped some of these preview customers.
Hi, my name is Joseph Parody, and I lead the Enterprise Services team for Avanad's internal IT group. When we think about corporate search, we think about three main things that are important to us. First, it's got to be where our people already are. So with Microsoft Search, we get that because it's everywhere in Office 365, and it's even on the new tab page in Microsoft Edge. Second, we need really good relevance, and Microsoft Search allows us to do that by tools like Best Bets and the Custom Synonym Dictionary. Finally, we need comprehensive coverage for all of our content. And with the new Microsoft Search and Graph Connectors, we get that. All of our process documentation from ServiceNow is now available directly in the search results on Microsoft Search. This allows all of our users to best serve our clients.
At DAZN, we use SharePoint and Search Connectors. This helps to bring everything into one place for our employees so that all of their search results from across ServiceNow and SharePoint are in one easy-to-find location. It's provided us with more efficiency and better support for our employees who are able to find everything whilst they're working remotely.
Thank you again to all of our preview customers and to all of you for tuning in to this video.
From all of us on the Graph Connectors team, we send our best wishes to you. Stay safe, stay healthy, and once again, thank you.
Goodbye.